Okay. So we all have been treating wet AMD and we all have been talking about the fluid, but the result like this always frustrates us. When we achieve a good anatomical response, however, we end up seeing this thick scar at the subfoveal area. Though the patient is doing well, we are not going to treat them, but the vision is very poor. So we did discuss about the SHRM, and we all know that SHRM could be because of this could be a neovascular tissue or a fibrosis, fibrin, lipid, or a blood exudation. There is a variable response to various anti-VEGF drugs. However, the data is still not very supportive that which kind of anti-VEGF should be preferred in what kind of SHRM. However, as Vas also mentioned, that the CAT study has already showed that this SHRM is the one which actually leads to the poor visual outcome in the long run, and we need to find out the risk factors for this fibrosis. So today's question is, how do we actually diagnose this SHRM? Can we actually prevent this subfoveal scarring which is going to happen? So let's start with the OCT. We all have been seeing these OCTs about the SHRM where we talk about the height, volume, reflectivity, and the border. You can see that this is looking like almost like a sheave where you have more of an exudation. The margins are a little blurry, and you suspect that this could be an exudative kind of SHRM. We can start talking about this is an amorphous SHRM or it is a consolidated SHRM. As you can see that the bottom picture does show that the margins are much more clear. It looks like this stage is this stage is almost like a fibrosis. It does change with the treatment. As you can see here, the SHRM has resolved almost completely at the subfoveal area, but just in the parafoveal area we can still see. The question is that can we actually diagnose the angiofibrotic switch, which is where the OCT angio plays a very important role, because we learned that this SHRM could be anything blood as well as exudation, or it could be just a neovascular tissue. But we understand that the neovascular tissue identification should be the key when we are treating this patient. That is where the OCT angio plays a role, where you have to differentiate between a vascular SHRM and the avascular SHRM, and that can actually help you to decide which direction should we be going. So for this matter, I have just got two of the very good images from one of these papers. If you really look at this image, you will see that there is a subretinal hemorrhage as well as you can see the neovascular membrane. But let's focus only on this cross-sectional vascular information. And now just focus on the various arrows, which you can see that the blue arrow is the one which does not show any vascular information, does not show any vascular signal on the cross section. The green arrow, which is being manually segmented, you can make out that the green arrow does show a vascular information on the cross sectional scan, and the red arrow, which is actually a blood, it does not show as such any vascular inflammation. So I think it is very important to start looking at the cross-sectional vascular signals, which can give us some clue that how much vascular component is still there in the SHRM, and can we do something about it. However, this is a very interesting image from the same paper which talks about the projection artifact. If you look at this image, you will see that we can see some vascular information in the inner part of this scar, where you can see this area. You may get confused by thinking that this could be neovascular tissue, but you have to remember that this is actually a projection artifact which is happening in the anterior part of the scar. So you understand that you have to correlate with the projection artifacts as well before you take the decision that this is a vascular data. So what new is happening in this field is the polarization OCT, which is being promoted quite a bit by Vienna Group, where you can actually see the RPE much more better than the rest of the tissue. And these guys have tried looking at the RPE, as you can see here, that where the RPE is atrophic, this signal is missing. And the bottom picture also shows the same. So can we use this polarization sensitive OCT? And you will see this is the very good example where they are trying to demarcate the SHRM area which is different than the RPE. So it is very difficult on any cross-sectional imaging on a structural OCT way to differentiate between the RPE signal and the SHRM signal, because sometimes it is almost overlapping. But in this image, you can clearly see that the SHRM can be identified separately from the RPE. So now we know that the shrum has happened. Why does this happen? Because of the anti-VEGF therapy, there is something called as epithelial mesenchymal transition, where the RP cells are actually converting into the fibroblast. There is a reduction of edema. However, we all know that anti-VEGF therapy is doing nothing but just reducing the edema. There is an accumulation of extracellular matrix, and which leads to the fibrosis. So what? Do we really care about it? Can we do something about it? We all were very disappointed when the Fovista study failed, and which is what was trying about anti-PDGF drugs, which failed, and that could have been a very good anti-fibrotic treatment, but it is mandatory to actually start looking at these cases much more closely for the early recognition of the fibrosis. So I always had the question that can we actually try using steroids? This is one of my patients where I was doing an LVPI, where I was treating this patient. I looked at the shrum. I treated these patients with Zaltrap along with steroid injection, and we saw that it led to a complete resolution of the shrum. However, in those days, we did not have OCT angio, so I cannot say that this shrum had any vascular component which responded to steroids or not, but I believe that the exudation can still respond to steroids, and that can actually give us a better scar. So what next in the clinic? Look for the signs on the shrum, whether it is active or not. At least in your structural OCT, you can start looking at the size, the margins of the shrum. Look for the signs of fibrosis. As I already showed that you may not have an OCT angio, but you can see the margins of the shrum, and you understand that this is getting into a stage of fibrosis. Try to differentiate between vascular and avascular shrum. Can we actually change the protocol? That I'm still not sure. We don't have that data. Can we become more aggressive, or can we switch the treatment or add steroid? Unfortunately, all of us try to get a better scar in our clinics. Thank you so much.